Meet the Signal reporters bringing you the stories that matter to the SCV. This is The Jump.
Jim, we finally got the ID of the guy whose body was found in a Canyon Country house a couple of weeks ago, and this weird incident where the guy comes home and finds a guy dead in his house. Why did it take so long to get the name?
It took so long. It's not like they didn't know who it was, because you'll remember that right off the bat they said, or pretty much right off the bat, the homicide detective said the guy used to live there and he forced his way in and took his own life. So given that, we know who we're talking about. They know the identity. So why did it take 2 weeks to get the identity? The answer is that the coroner, investigators were trying to contact the next of kin, which in this case was his son. I would phone every day, hoping that they would get, and every day they would tell me, well, we still haven't reached next of kin. And in that time, I had his family, the victim's family, phone here, the newsroom. I think they did it by mistake, but regardless, they ended up phoning here from North Carolina. Mm-hmm. So I had a name because they had left their name. They said where they were from, and this is our relative. So when I phoned the coroner, I said, since this is dragging on, I just got to be upfront with you and tell you, they contacted me and, here's the name. And he said, that's nice, we're going to call them, of course, but we need this signed. So I can only assume that since they just released it yesterday, they finally caught up.
It took 2 weeks to...
Yeah, and sometimes some people are, hard to track down, and that was obviously the case here.
This has been a weird story
it's
from the start, and a very difficult story for you to report.
Well, primarily the first stumbling block is when it's behind closed doors and it's a suicide. As you know, as a policy, we don't cover those things. Because the argument is there's no compelling public need to know. You didn't see it, so there's no compelling public need to know. But in this case, they were called for a burglar, which they thought, someone's broken into my house, and and things developed from there.
And there was a big hubbub that night at the house.
Exactly. So then it didn't help that the sheriff's deputies were not purposely secretive, but because there was a body found inside, it wasn't their jurisdiction anymore. It gets kicked over to homicide. It's not a homicide. It has to go that route.
And that homicide's downtown in LA.
Exactly. So then they get out the map and find out where Santa Clarita is. No, I shouldn't say that. And then they come up here, and then they go and investigate, and it's their thing. They have to just look into all the circumstances to make sure that it is a suicide, because that's what they suspect.
Right, because the guy just found a body. It could have been any.
But with all those sort of difficult things that were facts that were kept from us for one reason or another, it's this keeping hold of the identity until you reach next of kin. That's what took all the time.
Right.
For these stories and more, visit our website at signalscv.com and pick up tomorrow's Signal.